Local Dunedin man Chris Ford saw that NZ Post postal boxes, like the one we can see over our shoulder in just a couple of seconds, the ones that you put your envelopes into, there it is, were going to be removed about 2 weeks before voting for council was finished. And he thought, gosh, this isn't good because they're basically ballot boxes saying we're voting for mayors and councillors by post. If New Zealand Post removes these post boxes, then local people will lose a ballot box to stick their envelopes into.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about this story is New Zealand Post kind of went, oh, are you all right? That's not a bad point. We'll remove them after.
Yeah, we won't take them out.
Yeah, actually after
I was
the
surprised to learn though that their rule is those boxes have to receive 30 letters a day, Monday to Friday, for them to be viable.
Yeah, so this is the reason that NZ Post is another part of the story. So good on you, Chris Ford. Good idea. Good on New Zealand Post, listening to the idea. The next part of the story is, why the heck are we losing post boxes? Because as Lisa's just said, New Zealand Post says if it doesn't receive up to 30 letters per day, Monday to Friday, 150 a week, that they're not viable. And I start to think, gosh, hang on, if we put quotas on services, what's next to go? I mean, the point that Chris Ford was making is there are a lot of people with mobility issues. They want to vote for council. They want to put their voting in their local post box. But then once the post boxes are gone, those people with mobility issues still live there. What if they want to post something? And the older generation are more likely to post in for their bills and post letters and that kind of thing. And I just thought, what other services do we put quotas on? Are we going to hear now, well, if 10,000 people a week don't walk through the doors, the library's going to close? Services typically aren't a profit-making exercise. And rather than removing them...
They're just a public good. And plus it will cost to take them out.
Of course.
So it's just unnecessary.
Most of the post boxes get cleared 6 days a week. But I was just thinking, perhaps what they can do is clear them twice a week. Or even once a week.
Yeah, why not?
And leave them in place. Because I'm concerned when we start to think about services having a profit motive. And that's the only reason. If they're not viable, that's business talk for they're costing us money. Yes, they're costing you money. It's a service. You don't make profit off it. I don't think any of them should necessarily be coming out.
Yeah, that's just like saying, well, if you haven't got a certain number of bottles in your bottle bin, we're not collecting it.
So let's just have a look at the boxes that are due to be pulled out, and not to bore people who aren't in these regions, but if you are in any of these regions, just be aware that you might want to try and fight for your PO box if it's something that you or those around you use. We're in Hocken Street, couple in Kaikorai Valley, Nian Street, Shetland Street, Taiti Road, Victoria Street, couple in Queens Drive, Richardson Street, Prince Albert Road, McAndrew Road as well. Just leave that up there for a few seconds there, Tim, just so people can have a look at the addresses, because obviously if you live something like Kaikorai Valley Road, it's a very long road. There might not be one near you, but have a look. And gosh, I think that was a great that the gentleman in question, Chris Ford, said let's not do it now. But what about the overall question about maybe we shouldn't be doing this at all? This is a public service.
Yeah, let the people speak. Let's see what people think.